Hearings into the handling of the Russia investigation will pick back up in just a matter of minutes. Former acting director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, will testify virtually. McCabe was head of the agency during special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election until his firing in 2018. The committee is expected to ask him about errors in applying for a wiretap of Carter Page, a former Trump campaign advisor who is suspected of having ties to Russian agents. Here to provide some insight into former U.S. Attorney for Georgia's Middle District and current shareholder at Pope McGlamry, Michael Moore. Mr. Moore, thanks again for being with us today. We appreciate it. So let me just ask you, what do you expect will come out of today's hearing?
You know, I really feel like with the backdrop of the election and the political dialogue that's going on right now, you may see more grandstanding than you do fact-finding. And that's a shame as we're here, because clearly the committee would be set up to dig into matters of serious import. So I think you'll probably hear Republicans that want to push back and somehow victimize the Trump campaign, talk about how the campaign was a victim in 2016 because of what went on at the FBI. You'll hear Democrats and bolster and say, but look at the president's inner circle, look at the folks that have been around him, look at the comments and the prosecutions that have been made, guilty pleas that have been entered, convictions that have been had. Clearly there was something there. They'll also point to the fact that Horowitz did not find anything prosecutable from McCabe's conduct. So that's really what the lay of the land is. And again, we'll probably hear a lot of pontificating from the committee members, but I doubt we're going to get too deep beyond what we already know about the circumstances surrounding the FISA application.
So the Inspector General's report into the Russia investigation cleared the FBI of any wrongdoing, but it did find that their application to get permission to wiretap Carter Page was flawed. Can you explain just what the issue was there and what the errors were? Probably
the biggest thing that I saw would be the failure to point out that Page may have been working with another government agency, by all accounts, the CIA. But remember that a FISA application goes through a series of steps, and there's a series of checks. So an application is made, it's sent to another department, it's checked for accuracy, and ultimately submitted to a FISA court, which is a secret court, to hear whether or not there's a probable cause to believe that this person may be involved in terrorism in some way, a foreign national. So, you know, what Horowitz, I thought, probably was the most interesting thing that he said was that, look, you know, there was clearly enough to begin the investigation. And if you take that statement alone, that some of the Republican committee members and other appointed Trump officials have taken issue with, if you take that statement alone and then look at sort of the fallout from the Mueller report and from the outset of the investigation, then you can say, well, sure, it was justified because there have been pleas and convictions. I imagine we're really talking at this point more about whether or not the FISA process, what the internal mechanism and operational procedures were for the FBI in securing the FISA warrant, and how that may be tightened up and protected in some way so that you don't have an overreach by overzealous investigators or potentially overzealous prosecutors.
So you need probable cause in order to get a warrant or perform searches or conduct surveillance. Is the threshold for the FBI performing surveillance on a matter of national security any different? What kind of information would they need for this kind of operation?
It's a little bit less than you would say you might have on American citizens, because, again, we're talking about people who may be involved in terrorism when you're using a FISA warrant and you're using the intercepts, and so and foreign nationals. And so that's it's a probable cause standard, but with a little bit of a shift in it, I guess would be a fair way to say it. They would have to put on some information that, in fact, and put before the FISA court some information that there was some reasonable belief and that this person was involved in something untoward against the United States, or that there was some espionage act or something like that at play. And so that's why you have levels of review, and you have FISA courts that meet in secret, and these are very protected applications. They are protected warrants because it is about national security of the United States.
In his opening statements, Andrew McCabe is expected to say that the FBI had enough information to open the investigation, that it definitely wasn't a partisan effort against either side. and he stands by the FBI's work, and he was not given an opportunity to review his old notes and calendars to prepare for this meeting. What's the purpose of establishing all of this up front?
Well, he wants to be on the record as saying, look, if I say something that proves to be not accurate, then I want to be on the record as saying that y'all have not let me look at my FBI records. And so I'm not trying to mislead Congress. I'm not coming in line to the panel or the committee. So he wanted to get that information out, which I think is smart. He's got a smart lawyer if they told him to do that. The statement about that he felt like that there was a justification for beginning the investigation, well, Horowitz has told us that. And again, I mean, I don't want to keep beating the dead horse, but look at the sort of the fruits of the investigation and both the convictions and the pleas that have been entered and the admissions. I mean, you're talking about early on whether or not there was contact with the Russians. We know that from our investigative agencies and intel agencies, and we also know it now from statements and pleas and in-court admissions by certain people connected with the campaign and the administration. So we're really talking about not so much the substance of how we protect ourselves from foreign interference. This is really a hearing about what the process was, and you don't have to look very far in the local news stories, and you start seeing things about the Clinton Foundation and Clinton's emails, and it goes off down the rabbit trail. That's really not where we are, but we're relitigating things because Horowitz didn't come forward with a finding of wrongdoing. U.S. Attorney Durham has not finished his report. There was a significant hope, I think, on the Republicans' part that report, that investigation will be made public before the election. That did not happen. It could not be weaponized, and I applaud him for not trying to do that. And so there's again these. I'm afraid in the hyper-partisan spirit that has developed in Washington, committee hearings, which were made to be matters of inquiry, have become little more than just public witch hunts.
So I guess it's people are going to be watching this, and we're showing live pictures right now of Senator Dianne Feinstein and the Senate Judiciary Committee there. What's the goal of this hearing? And I guess more importantly, what could be the fallout for the FBI heads and the attorneys generals who have been questioned?
Well, the goal, I'm afraid, is not altruistic. And if you remember, this hearing was scheduled for October. Now, does anybody believe that Lindsey Graham scheduled a hearing about wrongdoings alleged against the FBI and members of the Obama administration a month before the national election? No, if you believe that, then you may be looking for the sun to rise in the west. I mean, that's just, it's nonsensical. So what happened was McCabe decided he was not going to appear because of COVID concerns at the time, and the hearing was rescheduled. So now what looked like they were trying to use as a bombshell or make into a bombshell before the election is now pushed past the election, where by all appearances we have a president-elect Joe Biden. And so I really think that the hope that the Republicans had in scheduling the hearing is not going to come to fruition. Now, in a hearing like this, I do think, and if you're a believer in open government, which I am, you want to find out if there were mistakes, were there missteps, were there miscommunications, are there errors in process, are there things we can do to sort of tighten up things of the protections that we give our citizens, and certainly we want to know that. But I really think if you just look at how this was scheduled for 1 month before the election and had to be rescheduled until now after the election, you'll see that while they may want to look like it's a sincere effort, I'm afraid that's not where we're at.
All right, Michael Moore, thank you so much.
Glad to be with you all. Thank you so much.